So today I have a really special interview for you guys. Today we got ourselves the leadership of Echo, the current winners of one of the most intense KVKs that we've seen in a while. So stick around because you don't want to miss it. What is up, guys? Meower here, back with a brand new Call of Dragons video. So, joining me today will be two very special guests and friends of the channel, the leadership of Echo, as we dive in what happened in their season and what led them to eventually winning this season. When the Zone 2 started, odds were not looking as good for them as it should be. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us introduce our guests. First up, we got SoD, Soft on Demand, Shawarma on Demand. You know the drill. The guy has been a frequent guest of this channel. SoD, take it away.
Howard, thanks for having me once again. It's always nice to be here.
Always a pleasure to have you, bro. And joining us today is a new face on the channel. We got Grond, one of the R4s and war leads of Echo, and a very good friend of mine. Grond, feel free to introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for having me, Meower. It's good to get a chance to come talk on the channel. I helped out a little bit in some previous videos, but it's nice to speak.
Yes. For those unaware, you heard his voice in the infantry guide. So this is the man behind the voice. But before we get started, of course, guys, don't forget to drop the like, don't forget to subscribe, and let's dive in what happened this season. So, Grant, Sod, I will ask you a few questions and then we're gonna go around, talk about it. First up, Zone 2. A lot of people were watching it. Absolutely impressive holding and choke points. Walk us through what happened in that zone.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Grant.
so you want me to go? All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess the first thing is that everyone probably wants to talk about is how we got so much territory on the plateau ahead of schedule and then lost it so fast.
Hmm.
Um, and there were a couple things that really led into that, but the number one factor was actually activity for us. Zone two, it's not crucial for winning the season. It's just coming out kind of litmus testing yourself versus your enemy, and maybe getting some merits and all that, right? Well, we had a tremendous amount of vacation happening in Zone Two, so our activity was not top tier for the opening of the zone. Um, and that's how we really fairly easily got pushed off the plateau.
Hmm.
But thankfully for us, those chokes, especially the ramp, was
Oh yeah,
incredibly easy to hold.
with the spire. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was beautiful. That was beautiful. I saw BDO was at their top tier activity, the usual end parade that they usually have, the Zergling rush that they usually do at the start of every zone. They were on top of their game. You guys looked a little bit shaky, but once the choke points hit, it started to shift into a completely different game.
yeah, absolutely. I think throughout that entire zone, BDO tried to come down that ramp at Spire maybe 3 times, 4 times. That was about it. They saw the trades and they saw the numbers in the death trains, and they gave that side up pretty quick and moved to the other side.
Hmm. On the other side, I saw you guys were holding it really well. Like it was very impressive, especially the placements of the little cities with the warband mechanics and everything. Like I saw a lot of those cities tend to get accidentally swarmed, and then people who were hitting it will get dead. So that was a pretty smart move in general. So props to you guys, on however who thought of it. Very smart.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
it's
It was intentional, that's for sure.
yeah, it's all just small details adding up, right? When
Yeah,
you're um, you're preparing, you're organizing. It's all just small details that you put into effect to have every small advantage that you possibly can, and everything adds up at the end.
true. And especially you guys are like the underdogs going into the season, an incomplete alliance, still the first time for this roster to be together, and you guys just blew everyone's minds. So zone one pretty much ended into choke point gaming with pretty much, I would say, BDO giving up attempting to push you guys out of it. Like there's just no other way to put it. Now zone
Yeah,
two.
I mean,
eventually.
Zone two
yeah,
was
I mean,
interesting.
don't get me wrong though. BDO definitely, they definitely, I have to give them some respect to, you know, the efforts that they put in this zone. I mean, after probably a few days of doing what they were doing, some alliances maybe would have called it quits in this zone, just say, you know what, we'll just use it for merits. But they kept chugging along, so I
Mhm.
have to give them props for doing what they did.
In
It
terms
was
of
definitely not advantageous for them with everything going on and the way things were playing out in that specific area of the map. But
mhm,
they definitely did a great job.
true, fair. Zone 2, I watched you guys as soon as the zones opened. It looked like absolute despair as soon as the pass 4 opens, because I saw you guys lost both passes to the RNG of taking passes, and then NA also lost both passes, I believe, as NA were
Yes, we
your
were
allies.
collectively we were 0 for collectively we were 0 for 4 on gates.
Yeah. So how did it turn around? Because I went to bed that day. I thought, you know what? I think my guys are screwed. I don't want to look at this. I can't watch. And then I woke up and I
Yeah.
saw you guys took the AC gate, started burning them, especially after that little bug that happened with the
Oh,
merits and the
yeah.
10-hour
We'll
rally.
talk about that a little bit. But
Yeah.
uh, but yeah. So basically, we lost all 4 gates. That was a little bit disappointing, obviously. Some of it out of our control, some of it in our control. But end of the end of the story is we lost all 4 gates, and we had our little 10-hour rally, which spiked AC merits, which was everyone was kind of on the same page that this was just crazy that it even happened that way as a super bugged rally, and
hmm
yeah, but obviously nobody knew at the time.
Yeah, it's such a
But
rare bug as well that you can't really like. It's super hard to replicate as well, so I can't really
yeah,
know for sure like the specifics of it or whatever it is. But we don't discuss really how to recreate bugs. But on that,
yeah, and you know what? It is what it is. It didn't
yeah,
actually affect much in terms of the battlefield and fighting. I mean, AC was still taking deads off that gate. We were still taking deads. So the only thing that was just changed was just boosted merits. But you know what?
yeah,
It didn't actually affect anything on the field. But
mhm,
we had to build with our second alliance to come help with the double rally and
that's when
well
you
timed other
cracked it.
tricks to help us get through the gate.
That's when you cracked it, pretty
Um,
much.
yeah, the double rally plus a few other things
hmm
helped us get through the gate, and it was a little, obviously our plans were a little delayed because we did not expect the gate fight to go that long.
hmm
Um, we did our thing
I
once we were in, just
I
chugging along
despise
through the zone.
I
But
despise pass wars, bro. I despise pass wars on a personal level.
well, they're pretty. They're you know what? It's nice every once in a while, but
I have PTSD
it
from
was a
them, bro.
long time.
Since this first season I lost, I had like a pass war going on for like 4 days. Back then, we didn't have all the current metas. Like Madeline Garwood, Harrison was unkillable.
Right,
It
right.
was it was dark times, bro. Dark times.
Yeah, but you know, and obviously on the opposite side of things, BDO was holding our gate. Um,
Mhm.
they didn't really like try to push or
I'm
progress through our
surprised
zone though
about
at
that.
all. Just
I'm
just
really
holding us.
surprised about it. I really want to ask about it because I saw when they held your gate, they never attempted to push at all. Like, what?
No,
Why?
they did a few things here and there, but not like a real push.
Yeah.
Obviously I can't speak for them and what their thought process was, but it looked like both AC and BDO wanted to take care of NA in that zone, and take care
Which,
of them here, and then only have to deal with us in the final zone.
yeah.
But
And then
as you know, the TK Bastion,
the Bastion incident
uh,
for video kicked in,
unbreakable,
which is,
unbreakable.
which
That
is,
TK Bastion,
which is,
basically.
bro. There were so many paths that they could have built around that bastion to try to crack it, or even just ignore the bastion, destroy the flags behind it. Like there are so many ways. Like
Yeah.
I spoke with a few builders. Like I don't think they could have.
It was
I definitely think they could have
it was, you
crossed
know,
it without
it
having to
was
rally.
doable to it was doable,
Yeah,
but you know, end of this, you know, that bastion locked things up there and
killed
no
that
progression was
morale.
made, and on the other side of the map in the other zone 3 we were coming down on AC, and then
Hmm.
it turned from a 2v1 onto NA with AC and BDO. It turned into a 2v1 with Echo and NA on AC.
Yeah, I mean, props to
um,
AC this season as well. I saw them fight against NA in Zone 2. I saw them fight against NA in Zone 3. Like, they did really, really well. It's just unfortunate that they never really got bailed out of a tricky situation, to be honest. They were in a bad situation, but they never
yeah,
really got bailed out.
no, they got grit. They were going right. They showed up. Obviously, every line says they're uptime, downtime, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but you know, in their active hours, they were going at it to the best of their abilities, obviously.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. They are
but yeah,
definitely also the weakest link in this KvK. So I don't blame them. Props to them. I'm happy Moopsy got rallied. Screw you, Moopsy. But yeah, other than
hey,
that, like
but yeah,
it went pretty well. Also, I want to take this moment to give a big shout out to Midget, my boy Midget and Echo. He knows. Big shout out,
mm,
my boy Midget. But moving on, like I think you guys like have set up something really beautiful before we dive into Zone 5, of course, and the shenanigans that happened in Zone 5 and everything. I feel like you guys are definitely on the right track. You guys are doing so well. You were impressive. You did really good. You held your own. Like it was, you were pretty much the underdogs going into this season. I don't think anyone really expected you guys to do as well as you did, and even the merits reflected right now. As we're gonna take a look here, like I know you guys are split up between multiple alliances, and like looking at the split up as well, it's huge, bro. It's huge what you guys pulled off.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
thank you.
yeah, it was definitely fun in terms of fighting.
Mhm.
Um, you know, maybe I'm not the happiest that Tempe beat me out, but you know what? It's a different story.
You lost to
I'm kidding.
Tempe,
I'm kidding.
bruh. You're
Yeah,
washed
he
up.
outdid me. He outdid me.
You're washed up.
I know. I know.
You're washed up. All right, so walk me
Saw took too
through
many naps.
the final zone now, because the final zone was pretty much the make or break for you guys. I see NA holding the dragon, and you guys are triumphant. BDO and AC are out of the zone. Walk me through. Walk me through this zone.
Grond.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was. If anyone was actually watching and paying attention, it was actually kind of straightforward at that point. There was a ton of memes, and BDO was still very, very cocky about things. Telling us we were going to get walked out of the zone in 48 hours. Um, there was a bunch of memes about, there's no more chokes to hide behind. Now you have to fight BDO open field and everything like this. But when you actually see the the opening fights in the final zone, you see our setup and our infantry line and everything else. We definitely employed the lessons that BDO taught us in a prior season, uh, where we were fighting with the MILF guys versus BDO,
Hmm.
and we weren't short for infantry this season, and we were able to control the field. BDO did some a little bit of pushing, but for the most part, once we were actually fighting, and aside from the occasional staff play or long march, there was a pretty standard progression for us, especially once we started fighting for territory. The combined field presence between NA and us during the overlapping up times versus BDO was just made it so they couldn't hold.
Hmm. And then AC was trying to crawl, trying to rat their way back into the final zone. They're crawling back.
Yeah, yeah. They did actually did a good job of that. They put pressure on areas where we had to uh, split our forces sometimes or choose between two priorities. A lot of times during this fight and in the zone in particular, we were actually counting minutes based on objectives and calculating, well, okay, how long do they have on that spire versus how long does BDO have on an NA flag over here or something, and we would make a judgment call and say, okay, how can we accomplish, getting somewhere and doing the most good for our side in the least amount of time.
Mhm.
And so then when we would triage and prioritize objectives and talk about what we want to do, and then we act accordingly on that. And it paid off. AC constantly says that Echo has a bunch of pilots when we actually don't. We just lose sleep. So we lose sleep and
Oh,
we long march and we staff play and all that.
Degenerate gaming.
Exactly.
the
Yeah. Exactly.
the lack of sleep was definitely there for some of us. Just living in VC, just working together and coordinating stuff.
Yeah,
It was fun. Honestly, it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun.
at the end of the day, it's always who's more dedicated. Who's more thirsty for that win, bro? Who's more hungry? That's always what
That's true.
sets it apart, pretty much.
Yeah, and you did you did put a good point on it that we are the underdogs, right? And we were the underdogs even prior to the pre KvK where BDO had their huge power spike
Hmm.
because so not only were we down player count, we were down effective shells because as a new organization we didn't have built up multiple shells to really implement properly at the beginning of the season. Then we were just down raw power too,
Hmm.
and so on top of that, when BDO power during the pre KvK, it was kind of a buckle down moment when we had to talk to the players and say, okay, at this point, it's gone from a slight disadvantage to we are the clear underdogs. So if you guys want to win this season, everybody needs to commit 110%.
Hmm.
We can't have anything less.
That's a really good mentality. At the end of the day, I think mentality was what made him broke this season for both sides, to be honest, because I feel like some sides were going in with the wrong mentality and the others were going in with the right mentality. So ultimately, in a game like Call of Dragons, right? This is a bit off topic from this, but in a game of like Call of Dragons, at the end of the day, mentality, morale, and the willing to dedicate is pretty much sets alliances apart from each other, right? Because it's easy to get power, it's easy to power up, but it's not easy to properly and effectively use it, which is what we saw happen with you guys and how you guys managed to like employ your activity, you rallied up your members, like you broke down BDO to the point that there are rumors popping out of them just falling completely apart. And I haven't heard anything from AC's side either, but again, AC were pretty much the weakest link. And even then, to be honest, they impressed me massively this season. Like they did really, really well. Like all things considered, I personally did not expect AC to do as well as they did. I'm just putting out there.
I agree.
They were pushing out NA in Zone 2 in a pure 1v1, even though it was just a back and forth time of who can do more damage during their uptime, as they were completely opposites. But even during the times when they were overlapping, they did extremely well. So big shout out to AC, and I will even give a big shout out to BDO for the entertaining season they gave us. But yeah, so what's next for Echo?
Oh, I mean, you know, uh, what's next is farm the. I was gonna say farm something, but farm up and recover resources from resource sealing, whatever, and whatever manners that a player takes to do that,
Mhm.
and overall just prepare for the upcoming KvK.
Yeah,
That's really it.
I
Just very straightforward.
have a feeling you guys might either get us or EIS next season. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we fully expect, based on the combination of recruiting and our activity this season to end up in most likely the big KvK next season.
Hmm.
So we're busy about the business of preparing for that, and, preparing the members, preparing our accounts, and trying to get everyone hyped for what is hopefully a repeat, banger season.
I hope it is.
Because that's kind of the. Oh yeah, I think it will be. You know, people kind of laughed when we said we were gonna, put this project together, and we one of our driving goals was a kingdom of fighters built by fighters for fighters, right?
Hmm.
Um, we don't hard focus the Diplo for the win. We don't chase pure power and try to easy clap all of our opponents. Um, we polled our members, and at the beginning of the season, 90% of the respondents replied that they would prefer a hard, heavy fighting season over a win for an easy season.
And they showed up.
So we use
They showed up
yes,
because
yes,
even if people poll that stuff, they don't. They tend not to show up. But your members actually did show up. So props to them.
yeah, yeah. So we definitely use that as kind of one of our driving philosophies to you know make us who we are and kind of point us in the right direction of where we want to go.
Hmm. That's really good.
Yeah, I think this first KvK sets the precedence of what we're aiming to do and what we want to be doing,
Hmm.
and and hopefully it sets us up for the future, um, in a positive direction.
That's really good. All right. So let me ask you one final question to conclude this. If someone was to want to join you guys, who would they have to contact?
Me. Or you would contact mommy. You can find her, and if you just look in game, she's R4 obviously. Just send either myself or her a message, and we go from there. Just see what happens.
All right. All right. Cool. Well, it has been a pleasure to have you guys on for this interview. Uh, uh, Again, big congratulations to you guys. Big congratulations to NA, even though I don't have the best of relationship with some of the people in NA, but big congratulations to them. I'm super proud of you guys, to be honest. You guys really knocked it out of the park. But on that note, do you
Oh,
guys have any
you're
final?
making me blush.
Of course, bro.
Oh, I do have one final thing I want to say.
Mm,
That this season was not possible without the help and support of NA. And that I enjoyed working with them overall. Um, yeah, it's just we worked well together to the best of our abilities, given our strengths and weaknesses, and
mhm.
we made shit happen. Oh, sorry, but
It's fine.
we
It's
made
fine.
things happen and worked out well. So I
Excellent.
just wanted, some people are going to say that NA really didn't do much or Echo carried, whatever the case, but this
Uh-huh.
win was definitely not possible without their support and their help. So
I think all four
just wanted
sides
to
did
make that
really well.
clear.
I wouldn't call any side or any part of this KvK bad. Everyone did their part. Everyone did
Yeah,
the best of their
of course.
abilities.
Yes, everyone did the best of their abilities. Is one kingdom stronger than the other?
Sure,
Sure,
oopsie.
but yeah, but everyone is, you can't expect everyone to be on the exact same level of strength, etc. But
Hmm.
everyone played their part to the best of their abilities in this KvK, and that's truly what made it fun. I believe
For sure.
AC, BDO, NA, and Echo all did everything they could in their power, in my opinion. So
Hmm.
that's what makes things fun.
All right. Ron, do you have any final words before we conclude this?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to thank BDO for a tremendous season. You know, despite all the extra hours and effort we had to put in to pull off the win, it was a lot of fun. They have some great players over there, and they have some really tenacious players over there. I think the main reasons why they had issues this season was probably the inability to change tactics when something wasn't working. They demonstrated that in Zone 2 versus us, and in Zone 3 versus NA was, they were attempting something to brute force, and when it didn't work, they just kept trying that instead of being creative and figuring out a different way around or through, they just kept going, and I think that was probably what ended up costing them the most in terms of morale, which played a huge factor later. But still, Zus and some of the other players over there are really great, and shouldn't feel bad about the season at all. NA, SoD said exactly what my sentiments were, is that it came down to strengths and weaknesses. NA is an alliance that is very clear cut in their strengths and weaknesses, and Echo is a more well-rounded alliance. So it falls on us to adapt ourselves to allow our ally to play to their strengths. And doing that was, once we learned how to do that, I think that was the turning point in us working together with better cooperation and synergy. AC had some grit, that's for sure. They knew they were fighting an opponent that they really couldn't handle. But the amount of deads that they took in effort to try to win this season was pretty tremendous for an alliance of their size, and especially for the players who are T4 or low T5 over there. It's rough, right? I think for those
AC took
guys,
the most deads out of anyone in this KvK. AC was they took the most out of anyone between our rallies, NA's rallies, other random shit, right? Like those guys, I have respect for them. They showed a lot of grit and the effort they put in towards the season. It's definitely something that others should try to pick up from.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for AC, probably the only thing I can advise I can offer is probably put more emphasis on your bastions. If bastions stay in the game and go to the next season, they really need to try to hold those bastions harder. Not let them go as quick or as easy as they did. I think there were some points where they had double bastion, and we were able to either get around them or break them, easier than we expected, and that really helped us speed up after the delay on the pass. And then lastly, the last thing I want to say is, thanks to the players from Echo, because without you guys, we really wouldn't have pulled this off. Everybody sacrificed sleep. Some people called in sick. People took tremendous deads on their accounts, sacrificed progression on their pets to resource heal. Everybody really put it all on the table, and that's what it took this season.
All right. Well, that has been an absolute eye opener. Well, I would like to thank you guys so much for joining me today. Of course, for the people
Oh, no
watching,
worries.
I feel like content like
Thanks for
this.
having us.
If you like content like this, please be sure to drop the like. Don't forget to subscribe. Well, Grond, since you are the newcomer on this channel, of course, it is tradition for any new guest to sign us off with a meow meow at the end. So please, if you may,
All right, let's do this.
hit us with the meow meow, bro. We're waiting. Wait, again.
Meow.
Where's the second one, bro?
Someone
No,
clip
you
it,
don't get a
bro.
second
Someone
one.
clip it. Someone
You don't get
clip
a
It
it.
second
has
one.
to be two. It has to be two in a row. Come
2 in
on.
a row.
Yes, come on.
This is terrible.
All right,
All
come
right. Meow meow.
If you enjoyed this video, click here to watch the next video. Oh, meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow.